Luka Doncic is one of the best passers in the world, but even if you've watched him 1,000 times, you probably don't fully understand why his playmaking works so well. So today we're breaking down what makes Luka such a special passer and how his style is completely different from anyone we've ever seen. In our recent videos, we've talked about passing manipulation, and that'll be our first category with Luka because in my opinion, he's quite clearly the best manipulator in the entire league. This is classic Luka, drawing two to the ball, and now Mikal has to choose between the roll and the corner, so Luka stares in that direction, Mikal takes the bait, and now it's a dunk for Hayes. Or on this one, Brown's the victim as Luka elevates, turns his whole body toward LeBron. That kind of keeps Brown frozen in place there, and Hayes gets another easy one. So this type of play, drawing two and then making a simple no-look pass, is what I would call level 1 of passing manipulation. Luka does it especially well, but a lot of guys make these passes. We'll get a bit more advanced here with something like this. He wants to get this to LeBron, but doesn't quite have the angle, looks at the corner, then gives just a subtle little half a pass fake, and now Kyrie's all the way out of there, and LeBron can go up and get this for an easy one. I love this one where he could probably just shoot it right here, but instead goes for the fake behind the back, then looks like he wants the floater, but just whips it behind his head for a three. That just looks like he's messing around. It doesn't even seem fair, and Luka might use pass fakes better than anyone else in the league. He has both Aldridge and Pirtle completely lost here, and that leads to the wide open three in the corner. And then here's an iconic one, turning heads on the initial fake, then again fakes the shot. Lopez wants to contest, so Luka just dumps it off, and you can already see he loves to use the threat of his shot to draw defenders. Rudy doesn't go for the first one here, but as Luka steps in, there's another shot fake. Now Rudy can't help it, and it's another layup. And passing out of the shot like that flows nicely into our next category, which is kind of a subgenre of manipulation, and it's the part of Luka's passing bag that separates him from other great manipulators. So it's time to talk about the late pass. Steve Nash mentioned Luka's late passing on Mind the Game recently and described why it's so tough for defenses to guard. Let's listen to what he says.
It's great because the natural kind of thinking of a defender is when you leave your feet is they kind of turn and they think, my guy's out of the play, I got to get ready to either rotate or rebound or crash. They've come in a little bit, and the ball's going over there, they can't get back out.
So the threat of the shot causes defenders to react and forget about their own matchups, and we can see that very thing happening here. Luka gets himself all the way into the restricted area and holds the ball up like he's gonna shoot, and Keldon Johnson absolutely thinks this play is over. Luka's gonna shoot it, right? But wait, it's actually a pass, and since Keldon was waiting for the shot and the fake got two other guys in the air as well, no one scrambles to the corner and it's a wide open three. How about this one off the miss? Shot fake, pass fake, he's definitely gonna shoot this, right? Kobe White sure thinks so, but again he passes out at the last second. He catches his former teammate Kyrie here staring at what he thinks is a shot, and what I really like about these is it allows Luka to explore every possible option before making his decision. Even if something's open, Luka still presses to find something better. Like here, pick and pop, and most players would throw this pass right now, but Luka keeps driving in search of a layup. That drags this double team with him, and now that he knows the layup would be tough, he makes this crazy late pass kick out. And if we take it back here, we can see Isaiah Joe's ready to rotate to this pop. He might not get there, but he could at least get a late contest. But now when Luka drives, Joe has to get back to his own man. Dort thinks the play's over on the shot fake, and this ends up with a completely uncontested three because Luka drove for a layup instead of just taking the easy pass early on. So Luka can relentlessly search for his own shot because if he doesn't have it, he has the ability to make these wild late passes. Here he is again, searching for a shot, doesn't have it, checks the cutter, now jumps and checks the wing, but feels Paolo jump that lane and makes another last second decision in midair. That's ridiculous processing speed. The popper's open early again here, but Luka probes, checks the corner, nothing else is open, so okay, we will take the pop. And the patience here makes for a more wide open shot, because if Luka threw the pass right here, Amen could maybe peel off to it, but since Luka keeps the dribble, Amen gets back to him, and now Şengün's way too far to to recover. It's almost like he never has to make an early decision. He can just wait for the best option to appear, and part of that is because at 6'7" with a strong frame, essentially every pass is available to him. He can pass over, around, or seemingly straight through defenses, like right here, my goodness. This is another great late pass, getting Keon to sink down, but it's also a ridiculous angle just to get this out, surrounded by all those bodies and arms. He gets his eyes fully covered right here, but still puts this in the perfect spot, which brings us to our next category, passing angles and creativity. It's yet another beautiful late pass out of the shot here, but how many guys would have been able to get this out from here? Watch how he maneuvers the ball around Jaren's hand and gets enough force on it to hit Rui. That's incredible. It's not normal. Crazy angle here, bending with Cat's arm to just sneak it underneath, and again, it's right in the shooting pocket. And I mentioned the size, which allows him to make overhead passes like these, and there's some more of that manipulation from earlier, looking at the roller and then hitting the corner. And on this one, you literally have to be tall to do this, over the top of the 7-footer, and he knows LeBron's going to be open here, but takes that extra beat to let MPJ fully commit to the roll, so it's more of that patience. And he gets tangled up on this one, but look how much bigger he is than the guys guarding him. Just flicks that one out and almost looks a little Jokic-y there. The Balkans like those little flicks out of the double teams, I guess. This is another late pass, but who even thinks to set it up this way? Like, oh yeah, I have an open shooter, but I'm not just gonna pass it to him. I'm gonna drive, jump up like I'm shooting, and then I'll just flip it over my head. Obviously, what? You wouldn't have thought of that? So sometimes it's his size allowing him to make passes that other guys can't. I genuinely don't know how many guys could have made this skip. Shout out to the closeout by Dort. And other times it's just his natural creativity, wrapping passes around people's bodies. Goes around Looney here. Moody thinks it's going to the corner. See ya, Moses. And I think what we've touched on so far is really the heart of what makes Luka different. It's the constant manipulation. It's always searching for a better shot, knowing he can bail himself out with a crazy pass at any time. And it's being able to see over defenses and find funky angles on the fly. But there are also things Luka has that are simply prerequisites for great passers, like his vision and IQ. Here's a normal looking post up, and all of a sudden it's a laser to the corner. Does that remind you of anyone else? Because it probably should. And this vision is what we called Jokic's superpower last video, and Luka can tap into that too. He sees Dante take that step in and instantly punishes him for it. Or how about this one where Reeves comes to set the pin down for LeBron, but Luka sees enough space here to lead LeBron to the basket. Again, very Jokic-like. So Luka's great passing off the dribble, but he can also be used as a stationary hub. In fact, JJ Redick really likes having him as the hub in a lot of the Lakers set plays. Did you catch that set? Luka as the hub, and Hayes screens for Reeves, and now Austin's gonna fake the pin down and dive to the rim. Vassell doesn't know whether to chase the shooter or cover the cut, and then literally a minute later, it's the same set, but the Spurs see it coming this time. Champagnie dodges the screen well, so Vassell can stay with the shooter, but wait, there's another wrinkle because Austin turns to set the back screen for Hayes, and look at that pass. I have to find the words. First of all, he's reading this set out perfectly, throwing it early to get the timing right. Second, you have to be tall to throw this. Sohan is a 6'9" forward. And third, look at the placement of this. It's like Luka just handed it to Hayes in midair, and that leads us to our final category, ball placement and accuracy. He's great at flicking lobs like this to the perfect spot as we've just seen, but he also loves these hit-ahead passes. Tyrese Halliburton gets talked about with these a lot, but Luka has a knack for perfectly placing them as well. LeBron has the seal here, and Luka fires it straight to that right hand. That's beautiful, and he'll do this off of made baskets too, just barely sneaks this one over the defender's hand here, and then again off the make finds Hayes right away for an easy one. And this type of pass is getting more and more common in the NBA, but here's one that separates Luka. Two guys on him, Chet in the middle, and he just kind of floats this up and over Chet's hand and gets it to land perfectly in Dorian's shooting pocket. Again, that combination of size and natural passing ability is crucial to this, but I do want to be clear. The accuracy and the vision, the IQ, these are all things that almost all great passers have. Luka has them too, but it's not really what makes him special. It's more about the creativity, the passing angles, the constant manipulation, and the ability to pass out of any situation at any time that truly makes him one of the most unique passers we've ever seen. So far in our series covering the big four passers in the NBA, LeBron's passing superpower was his processing speed. Jokic, we said vision was the superpower, though you could go a lot of ways with Jokic, and for Luka, we'll give him the award of the best manipulator in the league. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and are enjoying the series. That's now 3 down, 1 to go. Of course, any likes or comments are hugely appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one.